Let's illustrate a simple example demonstrating the use of the Java Iterator interface. Let's do this in a Java console. We'll run this demo in the main class. First, inside the console, we create an array list named list. Let's say we're going to have string elements. We will instantiate this array list dynamically in a heap. You may notice what I just did here. Instead of specifying string, I simply just leave it empty. It turns out in Java SE 7 and later, you can replace the type argument required to invoke the constructor of a generic class with an empty set of type arguments, like the bracket notation with nothing inside, as long as the compiler can determine or infer the type arguments from the context. This pair of angle brackets is informally called the diamond, and we could infer from this reference or declarations of your array list that what's inside of this array list is going to be all string elements. So just something for context. It's clear and move on. Next up, we're going to just randomly and manually add a few things into it. Let's say Java, and for kicks, we're going to populate this. So there's a list of 3 string elements, or you can call them string instances inside of this. Now let's illustrate how we can obtain an iterator for the list using the iterator methods of the array list. Get an iterator for the list. Goes like this. Iterator string iterator equals list iterator. Notice that list or array list implements the Java's iterator interface. That interface comes with an iterator. This iterator is actually a method inside the Java iterator interface. This iterator method is overwritten in array list that implements that iterator interface, so we can publicly fetch it. Notice this iterator iterates through the whole collection of things or list of things inside a data structure. And because the data structure is just a whole bunch of strings, this iterator bears a generic argument of string. Now that we have an iterator instance, we can use a while loop to iterate over the elements of the list using the iterator. And it goes like this. Remember, an iterator has 3 methods: hasNext, next, remove. Inside the loop, we use the hasNext to check if there are more elements in the list. Notice the hasNext is also a method. And we use next method to get the next element. As long as there's still more, we're going to keep on fetching it using iterator.next. And we will just simply print out the tokens or language in this regard. This is a very basic example of how to use iterator interface. Let's run it. We're running into an issue. That's because we did not import Java util. In this case, we can add them all and do a run. There we go. You may also just import what's needed and not the entire package. In this case, we're just using array list and iterator. Let's compile this again. This illustrates the Java's iterator interface, which provides a consistent way to traverse different types of collections or lists or sets or maps.